Opening in theaters Friday is Breaking, a film that premiered at the Sundance Film Festival earlier this year under the title 892. Not sure that I love either of those, but there is a lot to recommend here, and Christy's going to tell us what it's about.
This is Sergeant Bernard. Is everyone all right in there?
As long as everybody stays calm, nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, 892 at least makes some sense once you get into it. Breaking just feels like it could be about a lot of things. But it does offer a really strong performance from John Boyega in a way that we have not seen him before. He just continues to show his versatility. He's really good here in a very showy role. This is based on the true story of a Marine veteran named Brian Brown Easley, who in July 2017 held up a bank in Marietta, Georgia, a Wells Fargo branch. He was struggling coming back from Iraq.
I believe so.
And he was living on disability, and his check for $892 had not come through. And so he wanted that money. And so he robbed a bank. He brought with him what he said was a bomb, and he robbed a bank and was very polite about it and let all the customers leave, but kept two people there. The manager, played by Nicole Beharie, who is excellent in this, and Selenis Leyva, who is the teller that he works with, who's also very good.
And the money's being held up because of bureaucratic nonsense. He was attending some for-profit university, and they tried to gouge him with some charges, and so then his check got garnished, and you see him hitting the wall over and over again with the VA trying to get this resolved, and nothing happened, and that's what sort of finally drives him to this extreme action. Right,
it's the red tape of the system, right? And it's his individual story is emblematic of what happens to so many people after they go and they serve our country, and then they come back and find themselves, struggling mentally and financially, and they're destitute and they're homeless, and they're trying to do the right thing and support their family. He has an ex-wife, he has a little girl, and it all drives into this breaking point, as it were. This is directed and co-written by Abi Damaris Corbin.
Yes.
And she gets a great performance out of him. But I feel like it tells us so much. It tells us so much instead of always letting these actors who are so subtle and so sensitive show what's happening. I mean, quite frequently, Nicole Beharie will have to ride this really tricky fine line because she's got to hold it together. She's got to be capable and confident, but also indicate to us her increasing fear and her panic as the situation goes on. We also have the final screen performance from Michael K. Williams, who does a whole lot more with his character than is on the page, as he so frequently did. And it's a great heartbreaking reminder of all that he can do, the humanity that he could bring to a role. This is a more tender role than I think the ones that we have known him for, where he has brought a sense of menace. But he's great in it. The pieces are there, it just didn't overwhelm me.
I think what the bumps that this movie hits for me is that, and again, you're dealing with the parameters of a true story, and so you get kind of there's, I guess, certain things you get locked into, but you are telling a story that is about like a systemic issue, the VA, the way that veterans are treated, the way that Black people are treated in police situations. And like Michael K. Williams is very aware of this and is trying to negotiate with Boyega's character in a way that to try and avoid it ending in the usual tragedy that we get in these sort of situations. But then at the same time, we're sort of left with, and I don't want to get into spoilers here, even though, again, it's a true story. It all kind of comes down to like the actions of one renegade who could then later be written off as a bad apple, as opposed to, this is just how the system is set up to screw people. It kind of lets the system off the hook in a way, like because if you can be like, oh, well, see, if that guy had followed orders and not done XYZ, then this wouldn't have ended the way it ended. And to me, that sort of diminishes the power of this systemic critique that the movie is otherwise engaging in. But it is a great ensemble. You got Connie Britton in there and Jeffrey Donovan. So yeah, I agree with you. There's so many pieces that are really powerful, and it's worth a look, but it doesn't cohere by the end of it the way that it delivered. I kept thinking about The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain.
Yes, a movie that I love.
Yes,
which
is
is
also
so tense.
So tense, also about a real life situation,
Yeah.
also grappling with a lot of these issues regarding veterans and cops and Black people and that kind of stuff. And that movie just like it just sticks the landing in a way that Breaking doesn't.
That movie was overwhelming. Like I found myself sobbing at the end of that movie, and it's so tight and so tense and so efficient, and it gets the most out of every single second and every single bit of that cramped space. And Breaking just almost feels a little too languid for what is supposed to be a very tense situation. It's almost too quiet and too loose. Not that it has to be like bam, bam, bam in your face at all times, but I feel like it's a little too low key. And then there are these moments of humor. Maybe it's meant to break whatever tension exists, where like regular customers are calling the bank with questions about like their 401k and he's answering the phone. I guess that's meant to show us that he's a good guy, right?
Yes,
that he's not a loose
him.
cannon,
right.
Totally. That he is a decent-hearted guy who will be very polite and take a message and pass it along to the right person. I guess is what that's for, but it also felt out of place. I don't know.
Yeah, and again, not to keep dragging other movies into this, it's hard to watch a hostage situation at a bank movie and not think about Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah.
And so I think as a filmmaker, you kind of have to know that going in and figure out, all right, how am I going to tell this story in a way that puts my own imprint on it? And there are moments I think where that gets accomplished. This is a movie that doesn't quite reach its potential, but even so, because there's so much in its favor, it's absolutely worth checking.
Yeah. I'm saying 6.5, and that's mostly for the performances and just heartbreaking to see Michael K. Williams one last time.
Yeah, I said 6.8, pretty much the same thing. And, I would like to see what this filmmaker does next. I think she has a definite skill with, working with performers. Absolutely. And I think there's a lot that she brings to the table that, as she grows and develops and gets to make more movies, that I think will really turn into something.